You've tended gardens long enough to recognize when something feels off. The soil still smells familiar, the morning light still falls the same way, yet the plants seem quieter somehow. Leaves that once stretched open now curl at the edges, tomatoes ripen and then disappear overnight, and flowers that used to greet you have lost their cheer. It's easy to wonder if the problem is you, if your touch has weakened, if age has dulled the rhythm you once shared with the earth. But it isn't that. The truth is, the garden hasn't stopped listening, it's just speaking a new language. Pests are smarter, seasons shift faster, and the balance that once came easily now asks for gentle guidance. What you need isn't harder work or stronger spray, it's partnership. Nature still knows how to heal itself when you plant the right companions. These 10 plants don't just keep pests away, they bring back harmony, color, and confidence. You may already have one waiting quietly in your garden right now. Plant 1. Chives, the gentle protector. Chives are the kind of companion every garden deserves, quiet, reliable, and endlessly giving. They never demand space or attention, yet they stand watch over your plants with a loyalty you can almost feel. Their thin green stalks may look delicate, but beneath that soft exterior lies one of nature's most subtle defenses. The scent of chives, that mild onion sharpness, acts like a natural barrier that sends pests in the opposite direction. Aphids, carrot flies, and even Japanese beetles can't stand it. They search for a way in, catch the whiff of chive oil, and leave before they ever reach your crops. It's one of those rare garden miracles that require no fuss, no chemicals, and no strain. For seniors who prefer simplicity and comfort, chives are a blessing. They grow beautifully in containers, rail planters, and raised beds, anywhere you can reach without bending or kneeling. A few bulbs tucked near your tomatoes or roses can quietly change the balance of your garden. And once they take hold, they'll return year after year, stronger with each season. They also happen to be edible, of course, bringing gentle flavor to soups, omelets, or salads. Each cut not only helps your meals, it helps your plants, too, because regular trimming keeps the scent fresh and the protection steady. What many gardeners don't realize is that chives don't just guard against pests, they attract the right kind of visitors. Bees and pollinators love their purple blossoms, creating a healthy, buzzing balance that every garden needs. That mix, fragrance that repels the harmful and flowers that invite the helpful, makes chives one of the most complete protectors in a senior's garden toolkit. Have you ever noticed how chives seem to bloom right when the pests start showing up? It's as if they know when their strength is needed most. Think back to past summers, the first time you saw that purple burst, the way the air changed around your beds. Tell me if that moment feels familiar in your garden too. If chives guard the soil softly, the next plant defends with calm and quiet strength, protection that smells like peace itself. Plant 2. Lavender, calm in bloom. Lavender brings a hush the garden understands. Its gray-green leaves and purple spikes hold a scent that soothes people and unsettles small invaders. Moths, gnats, flies and mosquitoes find the oils in lavender unwelcoming. That gentle fragrance acts as a steady shield, keeping the air around your beds clearer without a single spray. For many gardeners, lavender is protection that feels like comfort. For older hands, lavender is forgiving. It prefers sun, well-drained soil and little fuss, conditions simple to meet in raised beds or containers at comfortable height. Once rooted, it needs only occasional watering and light trimming after bloom. Place it where you pass often. Each brush of the stems releases the oils that quietly deter pests and lift your mood. Trimming spent blooms and drying them extends the season, filling drawers and closets with a small, lasting calm. Cut stems in the morning after dew lifts for the best scent. Beyond defense, lavender draws pollinators. Bees and butterflies visit the flowers, helping vegetables and ornamentals nearby. That balance, repelling trouble while inviting helpers, reduces the need for extra interventions and restores a natural rhythm to the plot. Choose English or French varieties for scent and resilience. Spanish types work well in hotter, drier sites. If soil is heavy, add grit or sand for drainage. A light winter mulch protects roots without encouraging rot. Avoid cutting into old wood when pruning, trim lightly and leave healthy structure. Plant lavender in spring after frost, spacing plants about 12 to 18 inches apart so air circulates and foliage dries quickly. Pair it with rosemary or sage for a fragrant, low-care border that both scents and protects. Growing lavender reconnects you with familiar scents and simpler ways of caring. Its presence reminds you that protection can be gentle, effective, and long-lived. Have you noticed how spaces change when lavender is near? The air feels softer, the afternoon quieter. The next plant isn't as pretty, but it carries a different kind of strength, old, steady, and practical. Try lavender this season. Plant 3, Tansy, the forgotten guardian. Tansy is one of those plants that time nearly left behind, yet its wisdom still waits quietly for the gardeners who remember. A century ago, its golden button blooms were a familiar sight in cottage gardens across America. It wasn't grown for beauty alone, it was a natural defender, trusted to keep ants, beetles, and even flies from invading the soil. Farmers would hang bundles of dried tansy in barns or near kitchen doors to keep unwanted guests away, and the scent of its leaves, sharp, almost citrus-like, was its signature warning to pests. Over time, modern sprays and quick fixes replaced it, but tansy never stopped working. It simply waited for gardeners to rediscover what generations before already knew: nature doesn't forget what works. For senior gardeners, tansy brings both purpose and nostalgia. It connects you to a time when pest control meant observation, not chemicals; patience, not panic. It's tough, long-lived, and forgiving, a trait many of us see in ourselves. Once established, tansy can thrive with little attention, though it's best kept in its own container since its roots like to wander. Give it a sunny spot, water it sparingly, and trim it back after flowering to keep it neat. It's a plant that respects boundaries, but only if you set them early. Its deep roots make it drought-resistant, and its feathery leaves bring texture and color contrast to your garden's rhythm. Beyond its role as a protector, tansy tells a story, one of resilience and continuity. Each bloom is a small burst of gold against green, a reminder that even in simplicity, there's power. When you brush the leaves, that strong, clean scent rises, the same scent your grandmother might have known. It's not gentle like lavender or sweet like mint, but it's honest, practical, and enduring. It brings with it a whisper from the past: trust the plants that stood the test of time. Try placing tansy near problem areas where ants or beetles have been persistent, or in pots along the edges of your vegetable beds. You'll find it quietly working, keeping trouble at a distance. And if you're feeling nostalgic, let a few blossoms dry naturally. Hang them by a sunny window and you'll see how they hold their color for months. Did anyone's grandmother grow tansy? I'd love to know if you remember that golden flower in her garden. Maybe she, too, knew the quiet comfort of a garden that protects itself. From heritage to color, some defenses shine while they protect, and the next plant proves that even brightness can be a form of bravery. Plant 4, Marigold, light that defends. Marigolds are the kind of flower that remind you why gardening feels like hope. They rise fast, bloom bright, and seem to carry the sun in their petals. But behind that cheerful color is quiet strength. Marigolds are natural defenders, releasing a scent and root compound that most pests can't stand. Aphids, whiteflies, and nematodes all turn away from them, making these flowers one of the simplest and most reliable pest barriers a gardener can plant. It's proof that nature doesn't always fight with force; sometimes, it protects with beauty. For older gardeners, marigolds are pure ease. They grow in almost any soil, tolerate summer heat, and bounce back after neglect. Whether you tuck them along the edges of vegetable beds, in containers, or near walkways, they bring color, fragrance, and protection right where you need it. A few seeds scattered in spring can bloom through the whole season. They are perfect for raised beds and patio pots, easy to reach, easy to maintain, and endlessly rewarding. When one bloom fades, a new one quickly follows. That rhythm, steady and dependable, makes marigolds feel like old friends. Their protection doesn't stop at the surface. Below ground, their roots quietly release natural chemicals that repel nematodes, tiny worms that harm vegetables. Above ground, their blossoms draw pollinators, inviting bees and butterflies that help the rest of your plants flourish. It's balance at work, pests discouraged, life encouraged. And all the while, your garden glows. Color has its own kind of healing, too. For seniors, the bright gold and orange of marigolds can lift mood and ease anxiety. Their scent is grounding, earthy, comforting, a reminder of simpler times and familiar gardens. Try mixing varieties for layers of color. Short French marigolds create a dense border, while tall African marigolds stand like golden beacons in the breeze. Have you ever noticed how marigolds seem to bloom right when you need cheering up? They're more than flowers, they are steady companions. From color to comfort, marigolds defend with light. And as one guardian brightens the bed, another waits quietly, smaller, fragrant, and ready to bring its own kind of strength. Plant 5. Oregano, the scent of subtle strength. Oregano is one of those plants that quietly earns its place, never demanding space but always proving its worth. Many gardeners know it as a kitchen staple, yet few realize how powerfully it protects the soil that feeds it. Its fragrance, strong and grounding, acts like a shield in the garden. Aphids, spider mites, and other soft-bodied pests can't stand its aromatic oils. When you plant oregano near vegetables like cucumbers, peppers, or even beans, its scent masks the smell of tender crops, confusing the insects that would otherwise find them. What begins as a seasoning for your meals becomes a silent defender for your plants, a small but steady force keeping balance where it's needed most. For seniors who value ease and reward, oregano checks every box. It grows well in shallow containers, thrives in the same sunlight your tomatoes love, and forgives you if you forget to water now and then. A bit of neglect seems to make its flavor bolder and its scent stronger, turning mild stress into resilience. That's part of its charm. It's a plant that understands endurance, that adapts to age, heat, and change just as gardeners do. It doesn't need rich soil or heavy feeding. In fact, too much care dulls its essence. Sometimes less really is more. Each leaf holds both protection and pleasure. Clip a few sprigs for your kitchen and you'll notice how pruning keeps the plant fuller and more fragrant outdoors. In that way, oregano invites you to be part of its rhythm, a partnership of use and renewal. When its tiny white or purple flowers bloom, they attract bees and other pollinators, restoring movement to the garden and ensuring nearby crops flourish. It's remarkable how one small herb can link taste, protection, and life in a single act of growth. Oregano also carries a quiet symbolism that resonates with older gardeners: reliability. It comes back year after year in mild climates, stronger with each return. Its roots dig deep, but it never overwhelms. Its scent lingers even when the blooms fade. It reminds you that gentle strength can outlast all kinds of seasons: dry, hot, uncertain. You can sit beside it, rub a leaf between your fingers, and feel the warmth of the sun and the memory of countless meals it has flavored. Do you grow herbs mainly for cooking or for pest control? I'm curious how many of you do both, blending flavor with function. The joy of oregano is that it never makes you choose. It feeds you, calms you, and protects your plants all at once. From flavor to freshness, the next plant draws a line pests rarely cross, a cool boundary of scent and purpose that keeps harmony alive in your garden. Plant 6. Mint, the bold boundary. Mint carries an energy that wakes up a garden. The instant its leaves are touched, the air feels brighter, sharper, almost electric. That same scent that clears your mind is the one that turns pests away. Ants, beetles, fleas, even mosquitoes can't tolerate the oils mint releases when the wind stirs its leaves. Where other herbs protect quietly, mint sets a bold boundary, an aromatic wall that pests simply won't cross. It's confident, adaptable, and full of life, a plant that protects and refreshes in equal measure. For older gardeners, mint is a joy because it thrives on simple care. It grows best in a container, where it can stretch its roots without overrunning other plants. Give it sunlight, water when the topsoil feels dry, and it will flourish with almost no extra effort. Clip the tips often to keep it bushy. The more you trim, the more it gives. Each snip releases a clean, invigorating scent that drifts through the garden and lingers long after you've stepped away. That small act of tending, cutting, smelling, breathing, becomes a quiet ritual that restores energy and calm. Mint's usefulness doesn't stop at pest control. The leaves can be turned into calming tea, added fresh to salads, or crushed for natural relief from insect bites. The same oils that comfort you act as a natural defense outdoors, creating a gentle protection for patios and porches where mosquitoes hover. A pot of mint by the door or window is more than decorative, it's functional peace of mind. Different varieties bring their own character. Peppermint is cool and strong, spearmint mild and sweet, chocolate mint soft with a hint of warmth. Try mixing 2 or 3 kinds in separate pots for variety and fragrance through the season. The more diverse your mint, the richer the scent and the stronger the barrier. Have you ever noticed how the air seems lighter where mint grows? Its scent carries confidence. It's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things, like a handful of leaves, can change the whole feeling of a space. And just ahead comes a plant that fights pests in an entirely different way. It invites the right visitors to help do the work for you. Plant 7. Borage, the healer's ally. Borage is one of those quiet garden treasures that reminds you balance is better than battle. It doesn't chase pests away with harsh scents or prickly leaves. Instead, it invites harmony. Its sky blue, star-shaped flowers draw bees, butterflies, and the tiny beneficial insects that restore order to the garden. The pests you don't want, aphids, hornworms, and beetles, soon find themselves outnumbered by nature's helpers. This gentle approach makes borage a true healer. It doesn't fight, it restores. For the seasoned gardener, it's a perfect reminder that a thriving garden is built on cooperation, not control. Borage grows easily from seed, often surprising you with how quickly it fills a space. It prefers full sun and ordinary soil, and it thrives with almost no care at all. Once it takes root, it becomes self-reliant, strong enough to handle dry spells, flexible enough to bounce back after a storm. For seniors who enjoy gardening without strain, borage is pure kindness. It asks for little and gives back plenty. Its fuzzy leaves shade the soil, helping to keep moisture in and weeds out. And when it finally blooms, those blue flowers catch the light in a way that feels almost magical, like pieces of sky scattered among your vegetables. Beyond its beauty and its gift to pollinators, borage offers another benefit: nutrient support. As it grows, it draws trace minerals from deep within the soil, enriching the surface layer for plants that follow. Many gardeners plant borage near tomatoes, squash, or strawberries because its roots help strengthen theirs. Even after it fades, its leaves can be composted to add extra nutrition back into the earth. It's a full-circle plant, protecting, improving, and healing wherever it grows. For older gardeners who measure success not in speed but in satisfaction, borage feels like an ally that understands. Watching bees gather around its blossoms connects you back to something ancient and steady: the rhythm of seasons, the patience of growth, the quiet teamwork that keeps everything alive. It reminds you that gardens, like people, do best when they attract what's good and let go of what harms. Have you ever seen bees gather around blue flowers? They know something we sometimes forget: teamwork keeps the garden alive. That hum of activity isn't noise, it's harmony. It's the sound of life working together just as it should. And speaking of memory, some plants carry it in their scent, holding stories in every leaf and reminding us that even fragrance can protect what we love. Plant 8. Rosemary, the memory keeper. Rosemary stands in a garden like an old friend who never leaves. Its slender, evergreen branches stay vibrant through heat, wind, and time, filling the air with a scent that feels both alive and familiar. The fragrance is fresh and strong, clean enough to chase away pests like beetles, flies, and cabbage worms, yet comforting to anyone who brushes past. It's the kind of scent that anchors you in a moment and at the same time stirs up memory. For many gardeners, rosemary is more than a plant. It's a keeper of stories, of shared meals, summer evenings, and quiet hours spent tending the soil. What makes rosemary such a treasure for senior gardeners is its steadiness. Once established, it's practically self-sufficient. It thrives on sunlight and well-drained soil, asks for little watering, and forgives a missed trim or two. In raised beds or pots near the kitchen door, it's always within reach for a sprig to season food or simply to breathe in. The oils that flavor your meals also protect your garden, forming a natural barrier that pests instinctively avoid. That strength, born from scent alone, makes rosemary one of the most graceful defenders you can grow. Over the years, its roots dig deep and its stems turn woody, giving it the dignity of age. It doesn't fade with the seasons. It grows richer, more aromatic, more itself. In spring, pale blue flowers appear and hum softly with bees, a quiet promise that your garden is still full of life. In winter, when most plants rest, rosemary stands green and ready, watching over everything that sleeps. It's a reminder that endurance can be beautiful. A small trimming now and then keeps it full and productive. Dry the cuttings for sachets or hang them near doors for their scent and symbolism of remembrance. Each brush of your hand releases something more than fragrance, a connection to the seasons behind you and the ones still ahead. Have you ever noticed how rosemary's scent lingers on your hands, as if refusing to be forgotten? That's its nature. It keeps the garden's memory alive. And now, we turn to a flower that protects with beauty, taking the hit so your vegetables don't have to. Plant 9, Nasturtium, beauty with purpose. Nasturtiums are a reminder that even in nature, kindness can be an act of strength. Their bright, cheerful blooms and shield-shaped leaves may look delicate, but they serve with quiet courage. Instead of fighting pests, nasturtiums invite them in, luring aphids, beetles, and whiteflies away from your vegetables and flowers. They take the hit so your crops don't have to, becoming living decoys that protect everything around them. It's a selfless role, one that makes this plant feel almost human in its generosity. For senior gardeners, nasturtiums are a gift of ease and reward. They grow fast, need very little care, and fill a garden with color in just a few short weeks. Their vines can spill over containers, climb fences, or weave through vegetable beds, creating a soft tapestry of reds, oranges, and golds. The rounded leaves glisten after rain, and the flowers glow in sunlight, a daily boost for the eyes and the spirit. But they don't just add beauty, their roots help improve the soil's texture and prevent erosion, while their presence reduces the need for chemical sprays. Nature, once again, finds a way to do the hard work for you. Nasturtiums are also edible, adding a peppery bite to salads and garnishes. For many seniors, picking a few blooms to decorate a meal connects the garden to the table in the most satisfying way. That combination, color, flavor, and purpose, makes nasturtiums a perfect companion plant for gardeners who want results with minimal effort. They thrive in poor soil and don't need much water or fertilizer, which makes them almost foolproof. Too much pampering, and they'll lose some of their brilliance. Too little, and they'll still flourish. It's a balance of resilience and humility that many gardeners recognize in themselves. There's something quietly inspiring about a flower that gives so much and asks so little. Watching pests cluster on nasturtium leaves while your vegetables stay untouched feels like witnessing loyalty in action. You'll notice how even the bees visit often, drawn by the open, accessible blossoms. It's a plant that brings life, color, and protection, all woven together in one generous act. Would you plant something just to sacrifice it for the rest of your garden? Nasturtiums do that every single day, without complaint or fuss. They remind us that beauty can serve a purpose, that even the smallest patch of color can hold meaning. And for the final protector, small, humble, but incredibly effective, comes a plant that proves the quietest helpers often make the biggest difference. Plant 10, Parsley, the humble shield. Parsley may not demand attention, but it earns its place in every garden with quiet persistence. Often thought of only as a garnish, it's far more than a finishing touch. Beneath its bright green leaves lies a natural defense system that keeps your garden thriving. Parsley draws in beneficial insects, ladybugs, hoverflies, and lacewings, tiny allies that feed on aphids and caterpillars before they can do real harm. At the same time, it deters beetles that might otherwise attack asparagus, roses, and other tender plants. It protects by attraction and by presence, balancing the ecosystem in a way that chemical solutions never can. For older gardeners, parsley is both practical and forgiving. It grows well in small pots, raised beds, or narrow patio planters where space is limited and mobility matters. It thrives in partial sun and regular garden soil, requiring little more than steady watering and occasional trimming. Once established, it gives back more than expected, fresh leaves for meals, and unseen protection for nearby crops. Every handful harvested to brighten a dish leaves behind a plant still working to keep pests in check. It's the kind of subtle reward that makes gardening satisfying again, small, steady victories that add up quietly over time. Parsley also bridges the seasons. It's hardy enough to tolerate cool weather and often returns for a second year if lightly mulched through winter. Its deep roots help aerate compacted soil, preparing the ground for next season's growth. When it bolts and sends up its umbrella-like flowers, don't cut them too soon. Those blooms draw in the beneficial insects your garden depends on. Even in that final stage, parsley continues to give. Beyond its function, parsley adds a freshness that lifts the senses. The crisp scent when you brush the leaves, the vibrant green against dark soil, it all brings energy to the garden. Its dual role as food and guardian feels symbolic, nourishment and protection in one humble form. There's beauty in its modesty. Parsley doesn't compete for attention, yet its quiet work makes everything around it stronger. It reminds you that not every victory in the garden is visible. Sometimes it's what you don't see, fewer pests, healthier plants, that shows success. Parsley teaches patience and gratitude. It grows steadily, never rushing, never demanding. You harvest it, taste it, and know your garden is balanced because of it. In its small, steady way, parsley proves that even the simplest plants can hold the heart of the garden. Every gardener knows the quiet satisfaction of standing among healthy plants, hearing nothing but the hum of life at peace. These 10 companion plants are more than protectors, they are reminders that the earth still knows how to care for itself when we let it. No chemicals, no harsh fixes, no endless struggle, just nature remembering its rhythm. Each herb and flower plays a small part, scent that confuses pests, color that attracts pollinators, roots that mend the soil. Together, they rebuild the harmony that time and change sometimes steal from our gardens. For those who've tended the soil through decades of seasons, this is more than gardening. It's coming home to a promise that still holds true. When you plant these guardians, you plant patience. You plant trust. The trust that a garden doesn't need to be forced into beauty, it will find its way there if given the right companions. You'll notice how your mornings feel different. Fewer worries about bugs and blight, more space for joy. The simple act of watering becomes lighter, more purposeful, knowing that what you're nurturing is working with you, not against you. These plants don't just guard your garden, they guard your peace of mind. There's something healing in watching life find its balance again. It's proof that all the wisdom you've gathered, those years of tending, learning, adapting, still matter deeply. The garden listens to you because you've listened to it for so long. Together, you've built an understanding that doesn't fade with time. And that's the quiet magic of growing older with your garden. You both become wiser, steadier, and more attuned to the world around you. Because the garden still listens. Always has. It simply needed the right allies to help it speak again. If you believe gardening only gets better with age, then you've found your home here. Subscribe to Golden Garden Days, where experience isn't just valued, it's celebrated. Every story shared, every plant tended, helps another gardener rediscover their confidence. Let's grow this community of calm and capability together. Tell us below, which companion plant would you trust first in your garden this season? Your answer might just inspire someone else to begin again, and remind them that wisdom still blooms in every season of life.